Did you ever want to go outside to create a talking head video and it sounded like this?
I'm trying to record a video in the wind.
But you want it to sound like this.
Now I've moved myself behind a building and the wind is almost gone.
And this is the video you want to watch. Now today I'm going to share some of the best tips that I've collected over the years for dealing with outdoor situations such as wind, storm, rain, and other weather conditions that can affect your audio quality. Now, full disclaimer, I'm not an audio engineer. I'm just a video content creator creating content here on YouTube, TikTok, and LinkedIn and other social media platforms. But I've created a lot of content outdoors and I've figured out a lot of different tricks and hacks that you can use to implement and make your audio sound way better. This video is meant for beginners, so I'm trying to simplify everything as much as possible. I'm not trying to bore you with any complicated technical terms. We're going to make this as simple as possible so everyone can implement this right away. I'm also going to assume that you have some form of flexibility, meaning you can choose what you're going to wear, you can choose where you're going to record, you can change the angle. We are not talking about a film production set where you have a fixed position for your camera, for your subject, for the framing, and you have no inflexibility and you have to make this work. Such a situation is way more complicated. We are assuming you can do some changes, some simple changes to improve your audio. Tip number 1, check your weather report. I have a couple of different apps on my phone. I have a regular weather app, I have a rain radar warning app, and I have a wind speed monitoring app. I'm going to put the links to the tools down in the description and in the pinned comment below so you can check them out. So what I would do is I would check the weather report the day before I want to film. Then I want to check it again the morning I'm going to film. And then I'm going to check it again an hour or so or just before I'm leaving to just make sure that nothing else has come up. It's important because depending on where you're living, sometimes the weather might be stable for weeks. And in other regions, the weather might change in hours' time. So you want to make sure that you're prepared and you know what you're getting yourself into and what you have to bring along to get the best possible audio quality. Now, when you're in your weather app, you also want to check the wind speed. Anything above a mild breeze will cause some form of issues for your audio. So the higher the wind speed, the more of the following tips you have to implement in order to get good audio. Tip number 2, if it's really windy, and you have the opportunity to film indoors, you're happy with that, you can just change location. There is no need to film outdoors if it's not strictly necessary. Just find like a quiet environment where you can set up your gear and then film as much as possible, or just like for a certain period of time. And then when the weather is changing, the wind speed is reducing, you can come out and combine your indoors and outdoor footage. Now, tip number 3, if that's not an option, you can plan your location with the Windfinder app. I'm going to open this app right now and I'm going to show you what you can do. Let's assume you want to film in this location in Canary Wharf in London. So in this case, what you want to do is you want to go into Google Maps, you find the location where you want to film so you have a better understanding of the layout and the buildings. And once you've shortlisted the general area, you want to then switch over to the Windfinder app. And you're going to zoom into the same location. And what you're going to see is wherever you put your marker on, you're going to see what is the wind speed and where is the wind direction coming from. Now that you know this, you have a good idea like what will be the conditions based on location. You can also use the timer down here to slightly scroll forward to see how the wind is changing. Keep in mind that those projections are more and more inaccurate the further you go into the future. For example, here we can see it comes from the northwest and then later it changes westwards and west-southwest. So we can keep that in mind. And now in Google Maps, let's switch over to the satellite view so we can better see the buildings. Now we know that the wind is coming from the northwest. Meaning when we are positioning ourselves in and using the buildings as a wind blocker, we would probably be safe when we are filming there. So we will not get any wind in our location. So in this example, we could go over here, and then as the wind is shifting, as we saw it could come from the west, then we could move ourselves like inwards over here, and we could use this building as another windshield. And that allows you to do like a good amount of planning ahead, that you're making yourself familiar with the area and are considering like which buildings or structures could be a potential windshield. Now, tip number 4, be flexible with your wind planning. It can look very straightforward when you're looking into Google Maps and you're seeing the building and you're looking at the Windfinder app and you're seeing like where's the wind is coming from. Sometimes you get like certain phenomena that the wind might blow in a certain direction, might get deflected and then create a vortex, which is then again deflected again, might hit you from the front, even though you thought this location would be windproof. So when you're on location, you just have to move yourself like a little bit around and just adjust to the local wind conditions in person. Tip number 5, use a shotgun microphone with the windshield. And the reason why you want to have an external mic is because external mics are so much better at capturing audio and good audio in difficult situations. You will notice that most built-in camera mics or smartphone microphones will be really, really poor with even like a slight breeze or wind, and you will instantly hear that. The shotgun mic is directional, meaning it will pick up the best and the most audio from the front. It's most sensitive from anything coming to the front. That's why the microphone is pointing right at my face. And it will be reflecting anything coming from the side. On the other hand, most microphones on cameras or smartphones are omnidirectional microphones, meaning they will pick up sounds from everywhere, coming from below, from behind, from the front, and that will also further make it more difficult to control your audio. Because now you basically have to create a capsule, while with the shotgun microphone, you can basically just optimize for one direction to get the best possible sound when it's windy. When you're looking at this right now, you see I've put a so-called dead cat on the microphone. And what this does, this fur is just like a lot of microfiber. No cat was killed in this process. But what this will do is it will deflect the wind. So normally you might have like one wave of wind coming in, and then it hits individual hairs, and then this one will be deflected this way, this will be deflected that way, this will go over here, and this will go down there, and then it will hit the next hair, and every time it hits the hair, it moves it slightly, the wind becomes weaker and weaker and weaker, and by the time it has gone through those hundreds and thousands of hair in the windshield, then it will be so weak that it will not have the power anymore to create a noise. Now, when you're filming by yourself, you can use your own body to protect your microphone from getting hit by too much wind. For example, in my case, if the wind was coming from behind me, it would blow past me. It could easily blow into the microphone and create like a lot of noise. But if I'm standing myself up here and I'm blocking the microphone with my shoulders and back, then the wind will blow around me, will flow around the microphone, and the microphone will not be hit, and then you get much better audio. The second thing that you can do is you can get yourself way closer to the camera in case you're using a shotgun microphone. Because the closer you are to the microphone, the bigger your sound wave in proportion to the wind noise. This works because when the wind is creating, let's say, this amount of sound wave in the background, and when you're like away, your voice might also create this amount of sound wave. So it's kind of like equal height, meaning your entire voice will be overlapped with noise, 50% noise and 50% noise. Now, if you move really close to the camera, the noise level will still be the same, but your voice will now be much louder. You might get like 10 times the volume of your sound. And then by contrast, if you're then dialing down the volume in your audio recorder or video editing software, the voice will only take up 10% of the noise level. And it's much easier to focus on your voice if you're really, really close to the camera. This also makes it much more easy to block the sound with your body because you're like really close to the microphone. Now, if you can't get close to the microphone, you can move the microphone to you, and all you need is this, an extension cord. Just plug this into your camera and then plug the other end into your microphone, and then you can just hold your microphone right here, close to your throat, close to your mouth, and then you can even use your head as a windshield and block any wind hitting the microphone, and really maximize the effect of having your microphone to your mouth and throat area as close as possible and having the most impact in terms of windshield. Now, when you're filming with an assistant, you can also film the other direction. You can, when the wind would come from the front and it would fly in this way, then I could put the assistant behind the camera and they could block the wind with their body. So that also creates kind of like a bubble where the wind would flow around me, because it flows around their back, then flies around me. So it's kind of like a nice bubble between me and the microphone, where their body will shield the microphone from getting too much wind input from the back. An even better option when it comes to filming in really windy conditions is to use a lavalier mic. Right now you may be able to see that I have a lavalier mic right here, and by bringing the microphone really close to your body, you getting the same effect. You have the highest ratio between voice to noise, so the signal will be really clear and strong, and the noise level will be as low as possible. But you also have other options. You can now work with your own clothing to block the wind. A couple of options that you can do is you can add a windshield. There is also like a dead cat for most lavalier microphones. I'm going to show you this in a second. But what I found, which is even more efficient in most situations, is what you can do is you can buy a little bit of exercise tape, cut yourself a little strip. The glue is really easy to remove, and it sticks on clothing and on skin without causing any issue, can be easily removed without any pain or residue, and you can stick that to your clothes. Now, what you want to do is you want to kind of do it in a way that the clothes becomes your windshield. So if the wind was coming from here, from the outside, it would hit here, and then the fabric of the clothing will block the wind. It will do the exact same thing that the dead cat is doing on the microphone, but it makes it super easy to, one, hide the microphone, get it really as close as possible, and then also block off any wind with your own clothes. Now, in order for this to work, you have to get it really close to your throat area or mouth area, and needs to make sure there is nothing in between. Like the microphone should just be like the microphone, and then having like the tape, and then it should be your skin or your throat. You don't want to have like an additional layer, because then the layer itself can distort your voice. So the microphone is not getting your full signal. You want to have as little material between the microphone and your throat as possible to get the best possible signal. Now, if you're looking for a recommendation for which lavalier microphone is the best, I can give you 3. Right now, I'm using the Sennheiser AVX MKE2, which is a really fantastic microphone. It's probably a bit too much for most beginners. So in this case, I would recommend either to go for the Rode Wireless Go 2 or for the DJI mic. Both of them are fantastic mics. They come in interview sets. You get in 2 microphones and 1 receiver, so you can do 2 people interviews. Put one on yourself, put one on the other person. Or if you're just recording yourself, you just get 1 microphone, clip the receiver onto your camera, and then you get crystal clear audio signal. Now, the next step is you can use an external audio recorder if you want to get an even clearer signal. Now, the reason is that the audio processor in your camera is usually like not as advanced as a dedicated audio recording device. By having a cleaner signal with more bits and more frequency bandwidth, you make it much easier to repair the audio and post-production later. Now, this is a really advanced step. So, for example, I'm using the Zoom H6 to record my audio signal. I have seen a noticeable difference in terms of audio quality if I record it externally or if I record it directly into the camera. And then you can do much more in post-processing, applying certain filters, noise removal, or other things like removing reverb from your audio recording. Which brings us to our last tip for today. Use a software solution to optimize your audio. There is a couple of apps that I can recommend: Adobe Audition, the free Odyssey app, which is available for all platforms. If you're looking for one of the best, but also one of the most expensive solutions, you could also look at something like Isotope RX9, which has some of the most advanced noise removal features. Another option, which is currently free, might change in the future, but is like giving really excellent results, called Adobe Podcast. And what you can do is you can just upload your audio file and will do some AI processing and will try to identify background noises, remove them, and overall optimize your voice. And then once you have this optimized audio track, bring this back into your editing software, and then you have made the best possible choice. You have gotten a good microphone, you recorded the microphone signal the best way you can, you blocked the wind from hitting the microphone, and then in the end, you applied all the filters to remove any remaining wind noises in your camera. Bonus tip: always bring along headphones and record and monitor your audio while you're recording on location. You might sometimes think that you are in the perfect position and the wind is hitting your microphone, but your microphone might think differently. So it's always great to have a monitor and just bring along a headset, plug this in, and listen to it. What hits your camera, what is coming out of your microphone, to see if there is any wind noises, and then just move around the camera or like reposition people to better block out the audio. Now, if you want to buy any of the microphones or software solutions that I mentioned in this video, I'm going to put all the links down in the description and into the pinned comment below, so you can see if any one of them would work for you. And if you want to get more videos about how to create better content, especially talking head videos, make sure that you subscribe, hit the notification bell, smash the like button to help out the algorithm so more people can discover those videos. And I'll see you soon. Bye.